Hello, welcome to the Biology class Standard 12 2020-21. The second chapter of Unit 1 is reproduction in lower and higher animals. Contents are various methods of reproduction in animals, the human reproductive system, gametogenesis and fertilization, early embryology, parturition, and reproductive. Female reproductive system. The female reproductive system consists of the following parts. First, a pair of ovary. Second, a pair of oviducts. Third, uterus. Fourth, vagina. Fifth, external genitalia, vulva. Sixth, a pair of vestibular glands. Seventh, a pair of mammary glands. First, ovaries. It is the primary female sex organ. Its main function is production of egg or ovum and the female reproductive hormones. It is solid, oval or almond-shaped organ. It is 3.0 cm in length, 1.5 cm in breadth and 1.0 cm thick. It is located in the upper lateral part of the pelvis near the kidneys. Each ovary is held in position by ligaments by attaching it to the uterus and the abdominal wall. The largest of these is the broad ligament formed by a fold of peritoneum. It holds the ovary, oviduct and the uterus to the dorsal body wall. The ovarian ligament attaches ovary to the uterus. The ovary produces 5 hormones: estrogen, progesterone, relaxin, activin and inhibin. Structure and development of the ovary. Each ovary is a compact structure differentiated into a central part called medulla and the outer part called cortex. The cortex is covered externally by a layer of germinal epithelium. The stroma or loose connective tissue of the medulla has blood vessels, lymph vessels and nerve fibers. The outer cortex is more compact and granular. It shows large number of tiny masses of cells called ovarian follicles. These are collectively formed from the immature ova originating from cells of the dorsal endoderm of the yolk sac. The cells migrate to the gonadal ridge during embryonic development and divide mitotically. Now these cells are called oogonia. As the oogonia continue to grow in size, they are surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells and form the rudiments of the ovarian follicle. The process of oogenesis starts much before the birth of the female baby, and by the end of 12 weeks the ovary is fully formed. It has more than 2 million primordial follicles in it. The cells of germinal epithelium give rise to groups of oogonia projecting into the cortex in the form of cord called egg tubes of Fluger. Each cord at its end has a round mass of oogonial cells called egg nest from which the primordial ovarian follicles develop. Each primordial follicle has at its center a large primary oocyte to end surrounded by a single layer of flat follicular cells. The primary oocyte starts with its meiotic division but gets arrested at meiosis 1 of the 2 million primordial follicles embedded in the fetal ovary. Only about 1 million remain at birth and only about 40,000 remain at the time of puberty. The large-scale destruction of the primordial follicle during growth is called atresia. Development of the primordial follicles into mature or Graafian follicles restarts with the onset of puberty. During each menstrual cycle, only one of the primordial follicles starts growing to form the Graafian follicle. In each cycle, alternately, one of the two ovaries produces the Graafian follicle. The first menstrual cycle or menarche begins normally at about 13 years, and menopause, that is stopping of the cycle, happens at age 45 to 55 years. The period in between menarche and menopause is the reproductive age of the female and is approximately 32 years. In this time, the female will be producing a maximum of about 416 eggs. 32 into 13, that is 416 eggs. This is the TS of ovary showing blood vessels and the cortex and the medulla, the tiny small primordial follicles, which develops into primary follicles, after that converted into secondary follicle, then to tertiary follicle, and then developed into a mature Graafian follicle. And the ovulation takes place at the day of 14, and then this is converted into corpus luteum, then corpus albicans. Ovarian histology of a mature female. The different stages of development of the oocyte can be seen. These changes in the ovary are cyclic, occurring during each menstrual cycle, and it involves maturation of the primordial follicles into primary, secondary, and Graafian follicle. Each primary follicle has multi-layered cuboidal follicular cells, the stroma cells, add theca over the follicle. It now changes into a secondary follicle, that is growth of the oocyte and the granulosa cells increase in number. They start producing the hormone estrogen. The secondary follicle grows into the Graafian follicle by addition of more follicular cells. As this process of maturation of follicles takes place, they begin to move towards the surface. The Graafian follicle presses against the thin wall of the ovary, giving it a blistered appearance. The egg is released from the Graafian follicle during ovulation, and the remaining part of the follicle changes into a temporary endocrine gland called corpus luteum. If fertilization does not take place, the corpus luteum degenerates into a white scar called corpus albicans. Structure of Graafian follicle. Graafian follicle is a mature ovarian follicle, and eccentric secondary oocyte is surrounded by a non-cellular layer of zona pellucida secreted by the vitelline membrane of oocyte. The outermost protective and fibrous covering is called theca externa. Inner to it is cellular theca interna. It produces the hormone estrogen. Inner to the theca interna, the follicular cells form the membrana granulosa. From the membrana granulosa, the cells differentiate into discus, proligerus, and the corona radiata cells. Cumulus oophorus is the term used for the oocyte and surrounding granulosa cells. A fluid-filled cavity called antrum lies between the oocyte and the membrana granulosa. It is filled with a fluid called liquor follicle. This is the structure of mature Graafian follicle, which is exhibiting a spherical follicle, the external membrane theca externa, then theca interna, the internal cavity antrum, and inner to the theca interna, that is granulosa cells, the corona radiata, and the mature oocyte. The second thing is oviduct or fallopian tube and uterine tube. These are a pair of muscular ducts lying horizontally over the peritoneal cavity. The proximal part of the tube lies close to the ovary, and distally it opens into the uterus. Each tube is 10 to 12 cm in length. It is internally lined by the ciliated epithelium. It can be divided into three regions: first is infundibulum, the proximal funnel-like part with an opening called ostium surrounded by many finger-like processes called fimbriae. Of these, at least one is long and connected to the ovary. The cilia and the movement of fimbriae helps in during the ovulated egg to the ostium. B. Ampulla. It is the middle, long and straight part of the oviduct. Fertilization of the ovum takes place in this region. C. Isthmus or cornua. The distal narrow part of the duct opening into the third part is uterus. It is commonly also called the womb. It is a hollow muscular pear-shaped organ located above and behind the urinary bladder. It is about 7.5 cm long, 5 cm broad and 2.5 cm thick. The uterus can be divided into three regions. A. Fundus. It is the upper dome-shaped part. Normally, implantation of the embryo occurs in the fundus. B. Body. It is the broad part of the uterus which gradually tapers downwards. C. Cervix. It is the narrow neck about 2.5 cm in length. It extends into the vagina. Its passage has two openings, an internal as towards the body and an external as towards the vagina. Internally, the uterine wall can be distinguished into three layers: outermost perimetrium, middle thick muscular myometrium made up of thick layer of smooth muscles. Vigorous contraction of these muscles cause labor during the parturition, that is childbirth. The innermost layer called endometrium or mucosal membrane is made up of stratified epithelium. The thickness of this layer regularly undergoes changes during the menstrual cycle. It is richly supplied with blood vessels and uterine glands. These provide nourishment to the developing fetus. Fourth part is vagina. It is a tubular female copulatory organ 7 to 9 cm in length. It lies between the cervix and the vestibule. The vaginal wall has an inner mucosal lining, the middle muscular layer and an outer adventitia layer. The mucosal epithelium is stratified and non-keratinized and stores glycogen. There are no glands, but the cervical secretion of mucus is received in the vagina. The opening of the vagina into the vestibule is called vaginal orifice. This opening is covered partially by a fold of mucous membrane called hymen. The vagina acts as a passage for menstrual flow as well as birth canal during parturition. The fifth part is external genitalia. External genitalia, genital organs of female, include parts external to the vagina and are collectively called vulva. Covering or wrapping or pudendum. They include the following parts. A. Vestibule. It is a median vertical depression of vulva enclosing the urethral and vaginal opening. B. Labia minora. These are another pair of thin folds inner to the labia majora, with which they merge posteriorly to form the foregut, while towards interior end they converge into a hood-like covering around the clitoris. C. Clitoris. A small conical and sensitive projection lying at the anterior end of labia minora. It has a pair of erectile tissue, the corpus cavernosa, and is homologous to the penis. D. Labia majora. These are a pair of fleshy folds of skin forming the boundary of vulva. They are homologous to the scrotum. They surround and protect the other parts of external genitalia and enclose the urethral and vaginal openings into the vestibule. E. Mons pubis. It is a fleshy elevation above the labia majora. The mons pubis and outer part of labia majora shows pubic hair. Sixth, accessory glands or vestibular glands of Bartholin's gland. It is a pair of glands homologous to the bulbourethral or Cooper's gland of the male. They open into the vestibule and release a lubricating fluid. Mammary glands, accessory organ of female reproductive system for production and release of milk after parturition. Development of the mammary gland occur at puberty under the influence of estrogen and progesterone. Lactotrophic hormone LTH or prolactin helps in development of lactiferous tubules during pregnancy. This is a section view of mammary glands. The mammary glands are a pair of rounded structures present in the subcutaneous tissue of the anterior thorax in the pectoral region from 2nd to 6th rib. These are modified sweat glands. Each mammary gland contains fatty connective tissue and numerous lactiferous ducts. The glandular tissue of each breast is divided into 15 to 20 irregularly shaped mammary lobes, each with alveolar gland and lactiferous duct. Alveolar glands secrete milk which is stored in the lumen of alveoli. The alveoli open into mammary tubules. The tubule of each lobe join to form a mammary duct. Many mammary ducts join to form a wider mammary ampulla which is connected to lactiferous duct. These converge towards the nipple located near the tip of the breast. It is surrounded by a dark brown colored and circular area of the skin called areola. What we learned today: the female reproductive system. Ovary. Structure and development of ovary. Histology of ovary. Structure of Graafian follicle. Oviduct. Uterus. Vagina. External genitalia. Accessory gland. Thanks for watching the video. Kindly like, share and subscribe.